£12.8 million in business loans. Now that's how much the UK government-backed British Business Bank gave out to small business owners in July. And that is a 7.3% increase on the same time last year. So it seems like traditional ways of getting finance for your business still seem to be popular amongst small businesses. And this is still at a time when it's been reported across UK media that business confidence is low. So if you're considering thinking about getting funding for your business, either you've got a new idea that you want to explore, or you want to maintain what you're doing but keep that momentum going, then in this video, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the future of the business funding landscape. Now, hi, if you're here for the first time, thanks for being here. I'm Adelina and I am a content marketing strategist. And while I was supporting my clients, helping them to create their content marketing ecosystem for their business so that their content assets are working hard in order to help grow their business, a lot of them told me things like they were trying to scale their business, go to the next level, but they were finding it difficult to get funding for their ventures, for their side hustles, for their small businesses, and that the business funding landscape was quite opaque, let's say. So because I was hearing that quite a lot, I decided to just dig a little deeper into the business funding landscape and what it looks like. Now, the scheme I mentioned at the beginning of this video is the Startup Loan Scheme, and that is run by and managed by the British Business Bank. And they are owned by the UK government, and that scheme started in 2012. Now, through that scheme, people who are looking to start a new business or boost their business that they've been trading in for around 36 months, they can get unsecured personal loans from £500 to £25,000. And currently, as things stand, interest is 6%, and also if you get onto the startup loan program, then you are also eligible for mentoring that the program provides. But if you're looking to raise money for your business, are loans or even grants the best way to go? Now, those two options have been around for a long time. They are tried and tested methods by many business owners, big and small. But there are alternatives that people are starting to seek out, rather than staying with the tried and tested methods for raising funding for their businesses. So in this video, I'm going to go through and touch on 5 business funding options that you might consider if you're raising money for your business or trying to start a new business. Now, getting funding is much like planning a road trip. There are the safe, tried and tested motorways, if you like, such as grants and loans that I've just been discussing. But then there's also those avenues that are more like winding country lanes, where you might not be able to see where you're going right from the start, and you might not even know what that option entails. And this can be anything from crowdfunding to angel investors. Now, as you know, grants and loans have been around forever. Grants are free money, but the only catch with them is that there is the paperwork. Usually for grants, they say nothing in life is really free, but for grants, there's a lot of paperwork to fill out and there are long application forms. That's one thing to note. And whilst I was working with clients to help them with their content marketing strategies, some of them were in the middle of the process of applying for grant funding. So I saw the applications, I saw the kind of questions that they were asking, and yeah, it is a lot of work usually. And you do have to be prepared for those late nights and strict deadlines. Now, loans, on the other hand, those are quite straightforward. You borrow the money, you're charged interest, and you pay back what you've borrowed with interest. But make sure you read the small print on any loan that you're getting, or any type of business funding, to be honest, that you're getting. But especially with loans, make sure you read the small print so that you're not sweating bullets when it comes back to having to make repayments. So grants might sound like the golden ticket, and loans, look like a quick fix. But for any small business owner applying for grants and loans, there are challenges. And two to mention are the eligibility rules, which can be quite strict, and also rejection rates. Those could be quite high on both. But there are alternatives. And one of those is crowdfunding. Now, with crowdfunding, it's like you're getting your future customers to back you before you've even made a sale. So yes, you have to have the community, that is true, you do need to build that, but then also you have to be good at storytelling and telling them the vision of your business, of your venture, so that they feel compelled to give you their hard-earned money. And then there's the angel investors. Now that does sound fancy, doesn't it? But angel investors are basically wealthy individuals that believe in your vision and are prepared to invest their hard-earned money into your business. So essentially it's high risk for them and lower risk for you, depending on the terms you have with your angel investor, of course. And then there's revenue-based financing. And with that, it simply means you pay back depending on how your business is performing. So if you have a good month, you pay back more. If you have a slightly slower month, you pay back less. So payments are a percentage of your earnings, and you're not paying back a fixed amount every month. But you might be asking yourself, which business funding route should you go down? Now, only you can really answer that and know what's right for yourself and your business at the time. But the future of business funding might not be either or. It might be a mixture of a few different routes. So a mix of the old and the new, if you like. So I don't think you should be afraid of mixing things up a bit. So you could start with a grant and then boost your budget with crowdfunding and find an angel investor to scale your business to the next level. So you can use 3 or more methods to raise money for your business. So I would love to know what business funding routes you're thinking about trying out. Now it may be one that I have talked about in this video, or it might be a completely different one. But comment below and let me know what you've been thinking about. And if you got any value from this video, please do a like and subscribe to this channel, because then that helps me grow the channel and share this information with more people just like you. But let's just recap on the 5 business funding routes that I discussed in this video. So number 1 is grants. Now it's great if you qualify. It is free money, but there is a lot of paperwork that usually comes with it. And the eligibility requirements can be quite strict. Now, the second business funding option that I discussed in this video are loans, a tried and tested method by many business owners and solo entrepreneurs all over the world. Now, loans, as you know, they come with interest and can have quite stressful repayment requirements. So make sure you always read the small print and try and stay on top of your repayments. Number 3 is crowdfunding. And yes, you do need to build your community, tell your story in a compelling way that your customers, your future customers, are prepared to give you their hard-earned money. And I have a crowdfunding video on this channel where I spoke to a solo entrepreneur who is growing her athleisure brand about how she used crowdfunding to raise money for her business, for her startup essentially. So check that out, because that's really interesting, and she drops some key gems in there that you may not have thought about if you're thinking about crowdfunding. Now the 4th business funding route that I mentioned in this video are, yes, the angel investors. And those are rich individuals who are prepared to give you their money because they believe in your vision. And the final business funding route is revenue-based financing. And with this, if you earn more in a month, you pay back more. If you earn less, you pay back less. So there's no fixed amount that you pay back every month. It depends on your revenue, hence revenue-based financing. So the future of business funding could all be about customization. There's no one size fits all. So you just have to look at your situation, look at your business and decide what's best for you. But remember, there are alternatives, and the traditional methods, as we learned in the beginning of the video, they are still very popular amongst business owners and entrepreneurs. But either way, there are options out there. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.